Today's story follows a storm. Not just any storm. A hurricane powerful enough to swallow an entire town, to cut off roads, kill the power, and trap anyone who waited too long to leave. But the storm isn't the only danger, because beneath the rising water, something is moving, something patient, something that doesn't panic when everything else does. And once it finds you, there's nowhere left to run. But before we begin, if you enjoy intense survival movie recaps like this one, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss our next breakdown. Now let's get into the story. The movie begins with emergency warnings spreading across Florida. A massive Category 5 hurricane is approaching. Authorities urge everyone to evacuate immediately. Leave now, or risk everything. Most people listen, but not everyone. We are introduced to Haley, a competitive swimmer, disciplined, focused, used to pushing through pain. She's in the middle of a swim meet when she gets a call about her father, Dave. They're not close anymore. Years of distance, unresolved tension. But when she hears he's not responding, something shifts. Despite the evacuation orders, she makes a decision. She's going to find him, no matter what. She drives straight into the storm, past roadblocks, past police warnings, into a town that's already being swallowed by rain and wind. The streets are nearly empty, water pooling everywhere, power flickering. It feels like the world is already shutting down. When she reaches her childhood home, it's worse than she expected. The yard is flooded. The house is quiet. No lights, no movement, no sign of her father. But Haley doesn't hesitate. She goes inside, calling out for him, searching every room. And then she finds a clue. His phone, dropped near the crawlspace door. And that's when she knows. He's down there. She opens the hatch and climbs into the darkness. The space is tight, barely enough room to move. Water slowly rising beneath her. And that's where she finds him. Dave, injured, barely conscious, pinned by debris. Relief hits for a moment, but it doesn't last, because something else is in the crawlspace. Watching, waiting, an alligator. Massive, silent, and perfectly adapted to this environment. The attack is immediate, explosive. Haley barely pulls back in time, dragging herself out of reach. But now the situation is clear. They are trapped. Her father can't move. The water is rising, and predators are closing in. Haley forces herself to stay calm. She goes back down, carefully, quietly, trying to free her father without drawing attention. But every movement in the water sends ripples. And in this space, ripples mean danger. She manages to pull him loose. But getting him out is another challenge entirely. He's weak, bleeding, struggling to stay conscious. And time is running out. The storm outside intensifies. Water floods into the house, room by room, turning everything into a maze of submerged traps. Furniture floats, walls groan, windows begin to crack under pressure. And outside, more alligators gather, drawn in by the floodwaters, turning the entire neighborhood into a hunting ground. Haley gets her father upstairs, but it's not safe. Nowhere is. They try to signal for help, but the power is out. Phones are dead, and the storm is too strong for anyone to reach them. At one point, Haley spots a flare gun. A small chance, a signal, but to get it, she has to go back through the flooded lower level, back into the water, back into the danger. She hesitates, just for a second. Then she goes, because waiting isn't an option. The sequence is intense. She swims through murky water, visibility almost zero. Every shadow feels alive. Every second stretches longer than the last. Then suddenly, movement, fast, violent. An alligator charges from the darkness. She barely escapes, grabbing the flare and fighting her way back up. Shaking, breathing hard, but alive. As the storm reaches its peak, the house begins to break apart. The structure can't hold. The water keeps rising. And now, they're running out of space. Haley and her father have a moment, a rare pause in the chaos. They talk about the past, about the distance between them, about everything left unsaid. Because in moments like this, there's no time for pride, only truth. And for the first time in years, they reconnect, not as strangers, but as family. Then the final push begins. They aim for the roof, higher ground, one last chance to survive. But getting there means crossing the most dangerous part of the house, fully flooded, completely exposed, and filled with predators. They move together, slow, careful, every step calculated, until it all goes wrong. The floor collapses, water rushes in. They're separated. Chaos takes over. Haley is pulled under, struggling, disoriented, and once again, face to face with death. But she fights. With everything she has left, she escapes, finds her father, and pushes forward. Because stopping now means everything they survived so far was for nothing. Finally, they reach the roof, climbing out into the storm. Rain hitting hard, wind screaming around them. But they're above the water. For the first time, they have a chance. Haley fires the flare. One shot, then another. A signal in the chaos. And in the distance, a response. Rescue is coming. But even now, the danger isn't over. One final attack. One last test. Haley faces it head on. No fear left. Only instinct. Only survival. And somehow, she wins. The storm begins to pass. The water starts to settle. And rescue finally arrives. Helicopters overhead. Voices cutting through the noise. Hands reaching down. After everything, they made it. Barely. The film ends with Haley and her father being lifted to safety. Broken. Exhausted. But alive. And something between them has changed. Because survival didn't just bring them through the storm. It brought them back to each other. Because sometimes, the fight isn't just against nature, or fear, or what's hunting you. Sometimes, it's about holding on. To life. To family. To the will to keep going. Even when everything is trying to pull you under. And that's where the story ends. But before you go, if you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more intense survival breakdowns just like this one. And let me know in the comments, do you think you could survive a storm like this? Because here on the channel, the real danger is never just what you see.